guys, welcome back to CJ's Keto Kitchen. I scream, you scream, we all scream for, you guessed it, ice cream. We're making ice cream tonight, so come along with me and let's get started. So ice cream goes back to 500 BC and its origins started in Persia. But every country has had a version of ice cream and they still do to this day. In fact, in ancient Greece, the Greek physician Hippocrates used to tell his patients to eat ice cream. Their version of ice cream in Greece was snow mixed with fruit and honey. But he said that you should eat it because it livens up your life and increases well-being. So if you believe that ice cream increases your well-being, then we should probably make a keto one. So come along with me and let's get started. So I'm going to be doing everything in my KitchenAid mixer, but you're welcome to use a hand mixer to do these steps. So it's mostly going to be a lot of mixing and then of course waiting for the freezing process. So the preparation is not that difficult. It's just the waiting for the 4 hours or overnight for your ice cream to be done that is going to be the difficult part. So to start with, we need to begin with 4 eggs, and I'm going to separate these eggs. And of course you could use an egg white separator if you prefer. I'm just going to attempt to separate my eggs by hand. So you just take the yolk and pass it from shell to shell until you get the egg whites. And I'm going to put these in another bowl. Oops, got a piece of shell in there. It's not CJ's Keto Kitchen without a little bit of imperfection. Okay, so we have our 4 egg whites, and I'm going to go ahead and put that into the bowl of my mixer, and I have the whisk attachment on here because what we're going for is creating foamy egg whites, nice fluffy egg whites, because that's going to give our ice cream that nice fluffy texture. And in order to facilitate doing that, we are going to need about 1/4 of a teaspoon of cream of tartar. If you don't have cream of tartar, you could also use lemon juice or you could use apple cider vinegar. But we need something with an acidic component to help our egg whites set up and get really fluffy. But first we're going to start mixing them before we add our cream of tartar. Okay, so you can tell that our egg yolks are getting to the thickness that we would like. So now I'm going to slowly start adding our sweetener. And in this step, I am going to be using powdered allulose. It is supposed to be a very good choice for ice creams and all of that thing. It's supposed to have a cleaner taste than erythritol. You're welcome to use erythritol in this recipe, but sometimes erythritol can have a cooling effect, which is fine because it's ice cream. But I am going to be using allulose, and allulose is only about 50 to 60% the sweetness of table sugar. So I'm going to use a cup of this. If you were using another natural sweetener like monk fruit erythritol, definitely use the confectioners, the powdered kind, and you will be using closer to 1/2 cup. But of course this is all to taste on how sweet you like your ice cream. And I want to add this a little at a time, and I want to do this a little at a time so that our egg whites don't deflate. Okay, there's our very fluffy, beautiful egg whites, and we are going to set those aside. I'm going to put them in a separate bowl. because we are going to whip our cream, and I want to use my mixer. There's our nice, beautiful, fluffy egg whites. Now I'm going to put my whisk back on, and it doesn't matter that it has the egg whites on it. I'm going to pour 1 1/4 cups of heavy cream into the bowl, and we're going to whip this.
You're giving me just what I need. No time for riddles. You're in the middle of my self-release. You have unchained me. You have
So you can see that our cream is whipped, but not over whipped. We want it just to be nice, soft peaks. And we're just going to kind of set her aside for a second. And we're going to concentrate on the 4 yolks that we set aside from the separating of our eggs. So we want to lightly whisk those together. Just till they're nice and creamy. And to our yolks, we are going to be adding 2 ingredients. The first is some kind of vanilla. Now I am going to be using a combination of bourbon vanilla extract. Mine is from Trader Joe's. You can get any kind of extract that you would like. It's preferable if you can get a pure vanilla, and definitely look for sugar content. We mistakenly have purchased vanilla flavoring before, and that usually has a sugar component. This is just alcohol and pure vanilla bean. Now, to add a little extra, because I'm extra of course, I am going to be using some Madagascar vanilla bean powder, and I just bought mine on Amazon, and it comes in a little tin, and I have a rubber band holding it closed. But it looks a little bit like coffee grounds, but it's actual dried vanilla beans, because beans come in a great big long pod, and that's how they're grown. And in order to use this, it needs to be what they call bloomed. So when you bloom something, you need to steep it, basically. So I have put my vanilla, about a teaspoon of the powder, into a tablespoon of my extract. And you can see it's kind of made a sludgy. But that has allowed the vanilla bean powder to release its full flavor. If I were to just dump that in, it wouldn't have created that strong vanilla essence that we're going for. Additionally, in our ice cream, because I have used a powdered vanilla bean, you're going to have those pretty little brown flecks that show it's truly a vanilla product. So we want to put that into our eggs. And I'm gonna have to spoon it out, because it's turned into vanilla mud. Yummy. I'm just going to whisk that into my egg yolks. And then the other thing that I'm going to add, and this is especially helpful if you're going to be using a erythritol product, because after about 4 hours or overnight in the freezer, when you do your ice cream with erythritol, sometimes it can get extremely hard, and it will come off more like an ice milk instead of keeping that creamy softness that you want in an ice cream. So in order to help prevent that, you need just a little bit of alcohol, drinking alcohol. I am going to be putting about 2 tablespoons of bourbon in mine, in keeping with the vanilla bourbon theme. You could use vodka or any alcohol that you prefer. You could use vegetable glycerin in place of this if you do not drink alcohol, but vegetable glycerin has carbs in it, whereas alcohol does not, at least not your hard liquors. So I'm putting that in, and that's going to keep our ice cream nice and soft when it has been frozen. Okay, so we're going to set that aside for a second. And now we are going to take our whipped cream, and we are going to slowly start combining the 2 of these together. And we want to be gentle with our egg whites so that they don't fall. So we are going to put our egg whites into the whipped cream, and I will show you how we're going to do that. We're going to do what's called folding. And folding is a very gentle process where you scoop and swirl, scoop and swirl, scoop and swirl. So we're not beating, we're just slowly adding our ingredients together and putting a bit of air. But it's going to make sure that our egg whites don't fall. They keep that nice fluffiness that they have right now. So it's a scoop and swirl, scoop and swirl. Now we're going to do the exact same thing, only we're going to add our yolks and do the same thing. Scooping and swirling. So I'm going to try and get all that yummy bean out of the bottom. And we are going to scoop and swirl using our spatula. Just nice and gently scooping and swirling till everything gets well combined. Okay, everything is nicely combined. So I have found that a loaf pan makes a good vehicle for this because you want something deep enough to hold the ice cream, but also shallow enough so that it will freeze evenly. If you would prefer to make this in individual containers, if you don't trust yourself with a whole pan of ice cream, that's understandable. You could absolutely do that as well. And I have put just a little bit of plastic wrap on the bottom of my loaf pan. So you're going to want to let this freeze for overnight is best. Last time we made this, we checked it at 4 hours and it still wasn't completely frozen. So you want to give it overnight. I know it's hard to wait, but it really does help the process to keep it frozen overnight. So I'm going to put another layer of plastic wrap on this, and then we're going to put it in the deep freeze. That needs to go inside. Hi, CJ.
Hi.
The ice cream man came.
Wow.
Yeah, would you like some ice cream?
Sure, although I don't normally purchase anything from the ice cream man because it's so expensive. But yeah, sure. We can go with that. It's good. It's good, and I think we got the right amount of allulose in it this time with this version of it, and yeah, it's good. Yep. Cool and refreshing, just like ice cream's supposed to be. Good job, baby. Thank you. I know this was a big hassle.
Well, sometimes buying commercially prepared ice cream.
I shouldn't say a hassle, but it is kind of it's kind of particular how you do stuff. And
well, they do make some decent commercially prepared low-carb ice creams, but most all of them have sugar in it, and this one we definitely know does not have sugar in it. And that is the reason to do it.
Mm-hmm. And I think we broke it down enough where people can know how to do it. Good job. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us again tonight, you guys. We hope that you enjoy the ice cream and the weather getting warmer. Please consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell so that you know when we upload new content. We have keto conversations on Wednesdays, and that's where we get together and discuss different ketogenic topics. We also have ketogenic food unboxings once a month. And then we release our new recipes on Sundays. If you'd like to follow us on social media, we're on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, and we release new recipe teasers sometimes on those channels so that you know what will be coming out on Sundays. So please follow us there. If you need nutritional information, macros, printable recipes, other recipe ideas, those can always be found on our blog, and that's CJsKetoKitchen.com. So come on back next time, and we'll see you then on CJ's Keto Kitchen.